we have a minute here, we'll go through a few more donations. We have a $20 donation from LLK that says, "Hey Dragondarch, I don't know anything about Valkyrie Profile, but I do know I had to watch your run. I assume this will give me a complete, cohesive summary of the plot, especially the part where every major villain dies in a couple of turns? Good luck on the run." This goes to the All Bosses incentive for Crusader of Century. Come on guys, this game is adorable animal buddies. As your party, equipment, weapons, we got to get this incentive met. And also, we are RPG Limit Break 2018, coming to you live from Salt Lake City, Utah. We're raising money for NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, which was formed in 1979 as the grassroots advocacy organization by a group of parents whose very children suffered with serious mental illnesses. And NAMI has definitely maintained that focus to this day. Wow, we have another quick minute here. We have a $7.50 donation from Plazatron. Thank you so much for that. We appreciate it. As we continue setting up here, for those of you that are watching, we still have some incentives moving forward. For Shadows of Adam, Breath of Fire, Crusader of Century. If you guys want to get those incentives met, now would be a great time to start knocking them out, guys. So, appreciate it. Don't worry, guys. There will be more speedrunning action. We're just having a nice grand old time here in Salt Lake right now. We figured, you know, we'd wow you with a rendition of Behind the Scenes at RPG Limit Break, starring Voolagin, who's currently not on camera. Oh, Voolagin's hands. Tell. While we have a few more moments here, we have a $25 donation from Anonymous that says, "First RPG Limit Break. Liking what I see so far. Keep up the good work, everyone." We also have a $5 donation from Dewey Padrick. It says, hey, if it isn't one of my favorite runners accompanied by one of my favorite people to carry my worthless carcass through a smite match. Have fun on the run today. Darch, this donation goes to Runner's Choice. We have a $20 donation from Anonymous as well that says, "This is my first of several donations to come for various incentives. Mental health is so important to me as I've struggled with it my whole life. Good luck to all runners. Love you guys. We love you too." Speaking of LOK earlier and that awesome donation, thank you again. We would like to give some love out to our community artists, especially LOK, Carrie Fry, and Mega Weasel, who are responsible for many of the emotes that you are given access to by subscribing to the channel, which we're very grateful for. All the revenue from those subs and the ads we run will go to helping us run future RPG Limit Break marathons. But fret not, people. 100% of the donations go straight to Nami. We have a very special donation from Sharky, a $10.10 donation. Those of you in chat, press F to pay respects to Windows 10. While we have a couple more minutes here, we'll read a couple more quick donations. That is, if Windows 10 decides to let us. Is Windows 10 cooperating over there? Okay, I just wanted to make sure. We have a $12 donation from Calvinus that says, "Got a good thing going? Keep at it." And we have a $5 donation from Dragon7398 that says, "Hey Dragondarch, been loving your runs on Brosensor's channel and nice to see you playing through something less questionable." I don't know about that. Oh, and put my money towards Mort as Rue's name in Breath of Fire. Do we have another quick minute, guys? All right. Keep going. I think I have a small donation of $190 here. I believe the name is pronounced Miria. Says, "Oh, come on. Of course I'm going to donate towards showing off the cheat code I discovered. The Breath of Fire 1 debug name cheat. Meow to everyone at the event and watching online." Meow is just something I say. I'm not asking you to meow. I think clearly, well, now the crowd is a bunch of cats. You've done your job. Meow. We have a couple more donations here. We have a $5 donation from T Murdoch that says, "Here's for DD to push the rock at Valkyrie Profile DS." now that we have overcome Windows 10, Vooligen's mental breakdown, and a myriad of other things, let's get back to RPG Limit Break 2018!
Oh, hey, Vooligen, you're going to want to swap the screens because that's the main screen. I asked you if you were going to put 2 screens up. You said yes.
You guys should have seen the look on Vooligen's face. He's whispering sweet nothings in the Dragondarch's ear.
Please don't hurt him, Vooligen.
Oh, welcome to RPG Limit Break, where DS runs are a thing of beauty.
If it ain't Draken, it's something else with you, Dragondarch.
Hey, to be fair, Windows 10 is not my fault.
No, but I'm just saying, it seems to be whenever you get on, enjoyment happens.
We plead the fifth.
Ogre Battling Grimrock ran perfectly last year. I don't know what you're talking about.
There was Griffin, bro. But that's a good thing. I didn't say it was good or bad. I just said things happen.
We have Notepad. We will fix things.
We don't consider this a technical difficulty, by the way, people. We just consider this part of the show for all of your enjoyment.
It's fine. I want to make sure when all the other runs ahead after mine come in way under estimate, I want to make sure that we're still on schedule. That's been my entire plan.
You are truly a man among men, Dragondarch, thinking of everyone else but your own well-being.
The real irony is going to be if you sub 150.
That's not going to happen with this route. A 155 would be nice.
I mean,
perfect. We did it. We did it. Tech problems overcome. We have audio. Video is in the right spot. Vooligen is walking out of the room. I think he needs a nap.
And Vooligen has now left the room.
I think he's leaving the state.
I wouldn't blame him. Okay, well, with that said...
I have completely forgotten everything.
That's fine.
Okay.
I have to. With that said, we finally have overcome the tech problems, the audio problems. Windows 10 deciding to update in the middle of all this stuff, getting a new computer from the other room and installing all the hardware on that too. But welcome to Valkyrie Profile, Covenant of the Plume. I want to thank Dan, God of Thunder here, who's going to be helping me on commentary. We got Metasigma as a host right now. And I'm going to give a shout out to Vooligen for putting up with all that crap.
Big shout outs. Everybody should give a round of applause to Vooligen. I mean, he just champed his way through that, and I don't think I've ever seen him more calm in his life when everything went.
You didn't see him when he was whispering into my ear.
Oh, I saw it. It looked like he was whispering sweet nothings.
You didn't see his face.
No, I didn't have to see his face to know what his face was saying. You might end up like not here tomorrow, and if that's the case, I want my money now.
But I want to also give him another shout out because I'm borrowing his DS for this because I have a DS Capture at home, but it's not in the greatest of condition, and I didn't think it was going to survive the trip. So I borrowed his, and then tech problems happened. But shout outs to him for loaning me his DS as well, because this run wouldn't be happening without it. But let's not waste any more time because tech problems and stuff. So, ready on the timer? All right, 3, 2, 1, and go. Finally, we did it. The game can start.
It only took how long?
Yes. 3. So, the beginning of the game here, for those of you who aren't familiar with this game at all, the Valkyrie Profile has 3 games in it right now and a couple of remakes. This is the 3rd game in the series. This is more of a TRPG compared to the first 2 games. First 2 were more JRPG style, but the battles were set up in a way where you could use all of your party members in the same combat. You just mapped them to different buttons, and you can use that to attack with multiple characters, time your attacks to perform combos and everything. But this is basically the TRPG version of that. And it works pretty much the same. You have all your different characters on different buttons. And that's going to allow you to set up combos. If a character is in range, they will attack with the character who initiated the attack. These first 3 battles are basically just teaching you the combat system. And for this first battle, they give you 2 characters here. This one with the spear and the other guy in green there way on the right. They're both level 10. So they're just going to solo this first map for us. Will, the main character, and then Ansel there is just going to stay right at the beginning. But they're going to explain all the all the combat mechanics and everything. We're just going to have them... They're watching. They're watching. They're getting experience for it. The nice thing is in this game is if a character is in the battle and alive, they get experience for anything that is killed. So they don't have to be actively participating. And good, he did not get stunned. When you get attacked from the side, there's a chance you can get stunned, and you can't counterattack if that happens. So it's good luck that he didn't get stunned right there. I think it's like a 25-ish% chance.
Or an eternity of...
Something like that.
Yeah, about that.
If it's from behind, it's usually 100. Is it?
Behind it is, yes, 100. Side, I thought it was 50 for a while, but I don't think it's really 50. It feels more like 25%. You can see the main character and Ansel back there leveled up, even though they haven't done a damn thing yet. But we're just going to keep them right here. The enemies are a bit strong here, and we want them to be leveled before they do anything. And these guys, like I said, they're level 10. They can do everything we need to right here. And it's a lot faster than actually moving the other 2 characters down here, because every bit of movement I have to do takes time. So leaving characters at the start, not even bothering to move them, will generally save time. And I can't choose my characters for these first 3 battles, because they just don't give you the choice. But I'm moving in a specific way here. Oh, no, you don't want to go there. You want to go down here. But I'm moving in a way. I'm going to lure this last enemy out. This last one will not move unless you get close enough. You cannot get into range of him without him coming after you. So I have to get my guys down there in a very specific manner so I don't get it. I need to get 1 counterattack on them to have enough damage to be able to kill him in 1 combo. So I'm going to move like this. This is going to coax him up here to attack from the front instead of the side. If I just walked his maximum distance in a straight line, he would have moved to this same position but attacked from the side instead, which gives him that chance at the stun. So I did it like this to make sure he attacks from the front so I can guarantee that I'm going to get the counterattack here. These guys would be kind of scary for the other 2, for Will and Ansel, because they're only level 2 right now. But these 2 here, I'm just going to show off the combo attacks in this just a moment here. Switch over, attack with him. So here I have both characters in the combat. And I'm going to use both of them to get him down.
まあ今はそうしたって、フロントでアタックすると、カウンターアタックとできます。
That's really important in some fights. Around here it's not a big deal, but later on the number of attacks is super important for being able to get enemies down in like one... trying to get them down in 1 action instead of having to go multiple fights. Because you can see every single fight initiates its own combat sequence, and it's like 10 or 15 seconds per combat. So we want to reduce those as much as possible.
Yeah, and the amount of attacks you have is determined by the weapon you've equipped, and weapons will also determine special attacks, which we'll see later.
Yep, some weapons have this ability called Soul Crush, which allows them to basically do like a finishing move, but you have to get the combo gauge up enough to activate it. We don't see it much early because we don't have enough characters to really make use of it. So the second battle, the level 10 characters aren't here. I have to remember to do this real quick. Get open slash to the 3rd slot. I can change the order of my attacks. I don't want open slash as the 2nd attack because it's actually Will's weakest attack, and it also launches the enemy into the air, which mostly just wastes time right now. The other 2 attacks just straight up hit harder. So I want to have those as his first 2 because I have a weapon that only allows him to do 2 attacks. But here, Ansel's more the star. Will, he's okay, but he's not as good as Ansel is right now. Ansel is a warrior class, which gets more attacks per level. And you can see the difference in damage right there. Ansel did most of it, and Will just kind of did a little bit of extra just to kind of help finish it off. The next one, though, we're going to have this kobold walking up over the bridge. right here. He's going to park himself right at the end of the bridge, and we're going to double attack him. But I have to do this a bit more specific because at their current level, they do not have enough damage. They're not guaranteed to do enough damage to take it down. So the way I'm going to set this up is I'm going to put Will right next to him, so he'll be involved in the combat, but I'm not going to initiate it with him. I'm going to initiate it with Ansel instead, and I'm going to attack from behind and stun him, and then I'm going to attack, and then I'm going to wait for it to be stunned and then start attacking. One. Start attacking now. 1 gem, good. But I got enough damage anyway, so it didn't matter. And I got 1 gem there at the end. Those red gems that dropped, you'll notice Ansel still has 3 attacks right now. Those red gems increase the number of attacks you have. And you can only get them under special circumstances. When the enemy is stunned, that's one of those circumstances. So in that case, I was getting red gems in case I didn't get enough damage to take out the Kobold in one. I would have waited until Ansel reset his position and then had him attack a few more times to take him out. More of a safety than, well, just more of a safety. I wanted to make sure he died in one because if he hadn't died, the wolf, the wolf would have moved up in the same position, but then I would have to waste extra turns taking out the remaining enemies. And for this, I am not going to bother attacking with Will because Will is currently incapable of taking out the wolf. Ansel can do it by himself, but Will is not quite strong enough. So no point counterattacking and wasting time. I'm going to initiate this attack, however, with Will, and then I'll do the last one with Ansel. They're both attacking from the back, but Ansel's got enough damage here, so I don't have to worry about it. And we have a time for a quick donation if you want to do one.
We have a $40 donation from
Stoltenheim?
Yes.
Perfect.
That says, put this toward getting bullied and something to drink. That poor guy deserves it.
He does deserve it.
I could go for more of that.
See, even Ansel agrees.
I was about to actually say. Do we have time for one more?
No. Okay. Okay, so this next battle, they're not even going to give me the menu beforehand. This is going to introduce one of the big mechanics of the game. We call it pluming. This is a forced one. I don't get any choice in this. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to use the plume. It's going to use it on Ansel. Will is going to recite a speech, and I'll explain about leaving the voices on later, like after this fight or something. So you'll notice what happened to his stats. They've all been multiplied by 10. He is basically a walking tank now, and he's going to solo the rest of the map for me. Now, these are the same monsters we fought in the first map that were actually kind of tough. You'll notice he just did about 800 to 900 damage there and just one-shot it. He's going to do that for both of these.
All this fighting
but what happens when you plume is the character's stats increase by 10 times for the remainder of that map, and Will gains a special ability once the map is complete, based on what character it was that you plumed. In this case, we're getting Volley's Awakening, which increases all of Will's stats by double for 2 turns.
And taunts them towards Will.
That too. The thing is, though, when you plume a character, they are dead permanently. You lose them after the map, and you can never use them again. So pluming in this game is a very strategic choice. You have to kind of pick which characters you're going to plume when, based on what kind of map it is, how much time it's going to save for the plume, and what ability you're getting out of it, which is the other big one. The first two non-forced plumes we do give us really good abilities.
Works up an appetite.
There won't be one in the next chapter because they're going to explain at the beginning of the next chapter that you cannot plume a character that's a guest. And when a character joins you during a chapter, they're considered a guest. You're not like allied with them or anything. You haven't built up enough trust yet, so you cannot plume them because the bond is not great enough. And yes, I will be saving. The next 2 maps are actually really scary because they're about to introduce the sin mechanic. Sin is basically it's overkill. The more overkill you do, the more sin you accumulate. This map, there is nothing I have to do. And on this map, I need twice the amount they want me to get. For this map, it's 50, which is pretty low, but we don't have a lot of special abilities to work with or anything. But there's rewards based on how much sin you earn. Rewards for 100%, 150%, and 200%. And I need the 200% reward for this one. So I need 100
今
sin
の
total.
温
And if
泉
I
の
get bad
設
damage
定
rolls, I
は
may have to reset
ちょっと
because I can't get enough sin. And I need the items I get from this.
310ms ラテンシーがちょっと高いですね。今ペリオでまあ話していますね。
Okay, good. I got the right amount off him. Should be about 28, 20, 27 to 29, depending on damage values. As long as I get 20 from him, it's usually fine. Also, we have this character now. We have Charifa. She is the worst damage dealer in the game. Has the lowest damage multipliers on all of her attacks. She has archer. She's an archer, so her strength growth is a lot lower. She's just overall really, really bad. She's just good. She's mostly good for initiating extra attacks when you have your other characters in range. That's mostly what she's going to be doing here, is just assisting Will, doing a little bit of extra damage, and initiating one extra attack, the first attack and then the very last attack. I'm also moving in a very specific way here. I get the, I'm setting this up so that swordsman up there is going to come attack Will on the next turn. I'm going to kill this mage from the front. That way the swordsman will not go off to the side. I don't want the chance of him stunning Will, because I'm going to counterattack him to death. Okay, good. I got about 60 sin for that. That's exactly what I'm looking for here. Like I said, I'm looking for 100, and I should get the rest of it off this next counterattack. Yep, there's 60, so I'm sitting on 87 right now. I only need 13 more, which is really easy to get with this guy. Off this next guy, though, I need a drop off of him. He drops a Viking sword. He can also occasionally drop a Union Plume, and sometimes he won't drop anything. What I really want is the Viking sword, though, because that's an upgrade for Will, and I can equip it during battle, and it's going to make the archer a bit faster, dealing with the archer a little bit faster. But like I said, there's no guarantees I'm going to get it, and I'm just going to hope. I don't have to reset if I don't, because you can buy it in the shop as well. So it's not the worst thing in the world. It just costs a bit of time on this map.
The battle is won.
And Viking sword, sweet. So this map will go exactly like I want it to. Give a moment for a quick donation if you want.
Okay, we have a $500 donation.
Woo!
From our very own Aurelix that says, Dragons? Dragons? Dragons!
Dragons.
Durgans.
So I positioned Will over here in the corner so the archer would not be able to attack him. And I also left Charifa down there so the archer couldn't reach her. Because archers cannot attack the square directly next to them. So Will can attack here without any counterattack. It's not the damage I'm worried about. I'm just trying to reduce the number of animations they get, which just costs time. By keeping Charifa down there, the archer didn't actually attack her, so I didn't have to sit through an extra combat. And if I brought Charifa up a little bit earlier, she would have also participated in that first attack and would have been counterattacked by the archer instead. But there we go. I got all the sin I needed, so I'm going to get the item. I'm going to get everything that I need out of this map. The next map is also kind of scary because I need 150% there, but the requirement is 130 base. So I need 195 off the next map. So you can see I got 117. She says, "Hi, yeah, here's some items. You did a really good job." We'll explain a little more about her in a little bit. Actually, Dan, if you'd like to go over the story a little bit right now, if you would mind.
So this is not the brightest, most chipper game, to put it bluntly. What happens the first before the game starts? Your father is killed in battle, and the Valkyrie. So this is all heavily based on Nordic mythology, and the Valkyrie selects the main character Wilfred's father as one of her Einarhar, and we've been disagreeing on how to pronounce that.
Einherjar, I believe.
That would be a story for a different day. Either way, the mortal realm is not as privy to how the whole system works in preparation for Ragnarok. So his family believes that the Valkyrie is basically responsible for his father's death, which causes his younger sister to die, and as a result of losing both her husband and her daughter, Wilfred's mother kind of goes into her brain kind of moves into a position where before both of her children were born. And so Wilfred is now obsessed with getting revenge on the Valkyrie, who he believes is responsible for killing his father.
Oh boy, okay, so we're going to go into backup mode here. I just crit the first guy. Normally I want to get as much sin off him as possible, and it is still possible to salvage this, but I'm going to have to make up the sin somewhere else. And it's not guaranteed that I can get this to work. If the RNG isn't on my side, the RNG is not on my side. So we're just going to kind of pray that this works. If I don't manage to make up the sin, I have to restart the fight, unfortunately. This is one of the dangers of this map. It's critting that first guy means I get no sin. I kill him instantly, and I get almost no sin from him. And the other enemy I have to do it off of, I have to stun from behind and generate enough gems that I can use use Will's Soul Crush to make up the damage. The other option, I actually might try the backup option instead, where I go 2 combats. I'm just gonna hope. Like I said, I'm praying at this point. I really didn't want to see a crit there because it's not the safest way to do this fight. And I was really worried it was going to happen, so of course it happened, right?
Well, I mean, look at our setup.
True. Touché. Okay, so the big thing I picked up from that first fight was these flare gems. That was one of the 200% sin rewards. And they do a lot of damage for this point in the game, and I'm going to use them to get rid of these archers, because these archers just eat time like you wouldn't believe. The attacks are very slow, they attack twice, and they're ranged, so it's difficult for anybody to get really close to them. Sharifa can counterattack them, but like I said before, she's terrible at damage. So I'm going to use the flare gems to take them out. And that's the big item I wanted from that last fight, because this fight ends up a lot slower if you can't pop these archers early. And it'll be on the next turn that I
すみませんね。
the RNG is going to be kind.
証券でこのヴァルキリープロファイル
I really
あまり知らない。解説はちょっと難しいね。
Please don't. Not from you. Okay, so everyone's just he's gonna move down in between the two. The other 3 are not gonna move because they haven't aggroed yet. I gotta move up far enough for that to happen. All right, here we go. Let's hope this works. Okay, please no crits to start with. Okay, I got him stunned. That's fine. He's not going to counterattack. I'm going to initiate the next attack with Sharifa, and I'm going to hope I can get a Soul Crush out of it. Get enough red gems for it. I did that kind of damage just to make sure I'm going to get the sin required, but I have to get lucky with the red gem drops for this to work. Okay, I got it. Oh, thank God. So the sin has been made up. I usually get about 70 off that first guy if I don't get the crit, but I just got 100 off this guy, so we're good. I was really worried about this map. I'm gonna say that right now. This is probably the map that scares me the most out of pretty much the entire run because it's so tight on the sin requirement.
It's only, what, the 4th map of the game?
5th map, yeah. Fifth map of the game. It's like, yep, here's some RNG. Hope you don't crit. But yeah, that's the backup. If you the true backup, if I wasn't going for a little bit of the safety strat there, would have just been to try to do it in 1 and pray. But that really ends up being a problem if you don't generate enough, but you accidentally kill him because you had enough attacks. So that's why I kind of pushed him down on HP first, just to make sure I could get enough sin out of it. Sometimes even that won't work. All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm just moving up very slowly. I want Will in this exact position here. It's going to cause these 2 to move over towards him, and they're going to line up very neatly. But they won't try to reach him. They don't always take full advantage of the fact that they can attack diagonally, which is to my advantage because they're going to try and come in from the front. And I'm just going to move beside him here, and we're going to pop Volley's Awakening in, get Will's stats boosted, and then Sharifa is going to initiate the attack instead. We're going to leave one of them alive, and then Loxwell's going to come down finally. I moved up just far enough so Loxwell's going to partake in the fight. Okay, that should be enough sin from him. The swordsman usually gives me about 60, so I should be good.
Not bad if I do say so myself.
Dan, if you'd like to explain the story of this chapter real quick.
So chapter 1, the Sharifa is, when you start off last mission, Will is running and stumbles into Sharipa, and she's currently hiding. She's an assassin who says, "The heck with it, I'm done being an assassin, I'm out of here." And because she's a military assassin, the military is not super keen on people just leaving, which makes a lot of sense when you think about it. And in the process of stumbling into her, the people sent to track Sharipa down,
For you,
including the maid who's
Father.
either Loxwell, catch up with them. And so both battles are focusing around that, and turns out Loxwell's her dad. So Loxwell's been sent to go and track down and or kill his daughter.
So I needed Volley's Awakening available for this fight, or for this guy specifically, because he's got a lot of HP. And without it active, it takes a number of combats to get him down.
What did you expect?
That's why I waited so long to use Volley's Awakening, just so I'd have it a bit available for him. But we met the Sin requirement, which is perfect. We got almost double. Wow, that's actually really good. But I met the 150% reward, so perfect. So now Loxwell's like, "I'm sorry, I'll join you." That's pretty much it. He's like, "I shouldn't have been fighting against my daughter. I'll join up with you." So now I have a mage. We're not going to end up using him before the next chapter starts. But thankfully, he joins as a guest right now. But there's no more battles before the end of the chapter, so I get to fully use him in the next one. Also, you come back to this town a few times, Torquay. This is Will's hometown. He comes back to basically check on his mom, check on her carekeeper or caregiver. Like Dan explained earlier, his mom's kind of not in the right sense of mind right now.
Yeah.
So he's just kind of checking in to make sure she's okay.
Severe PTSD, kind of.
Okay, so chapter 2, you get to pick which path you go. You can choose between one of these 3 paths, and it forces the save after you choose the path. So you can't just, you really can't just save scum out of it. So we're picking the Hroth Walk path. This is going to give us 2 characters named Darius and Gwendal. Gwendal is the one with the important plume ability, which we'll be using later, and we'll explain that a little bit later as well. But Gwendal is a warrior. Let me check my notes here. Okay, it's just Loxwell here, Sharifa here, Gwendal here, and then we're good to go. I have my notes up or all my menuing in between battles up on a laptop next to me, just to make sure I don't forget anything. Because one little mistake can cost a ridiculous amount of time in this. Volley's Awakening, and then we're going to move Loxwell and Sharifa up. And then we're just going to initiate the attack with Sharifa. We have enough damage output between just Sharifa and Will that I can take it down. I want to avoid using Loxwell here because his attacks take a lot more time. He cast Firestorm, which you saw in the previous battle, which has a long animation and knocks something up into the air, which just eats at the clock. So if I don't have to use Loxwell, I really don't want to right now. Gwendal is literally here just to absorb a little bit of experience, and he has one other purpose in this fight, but not until like the very end. So he's just gonna kind of chill and watch what's going on. Also, these bats have 2 attack range, but for some reason this one walks up right next to Will, so I can counterattack it. I'm not quite sure why the AI does that sometimes, but I'm not going to argue with it either. Oh, good. No stun. And Will, because he has Volley's Awakening running, can just one-shot it. Also, I mentioned earlier that I'm leaving the voices on, which does eat time because of certain voice clips outside of combat, like with casting buffs and the plume ability, which eats 4 seconds. But for some weird reason in this game, enemies that do not have a voice clip, like all the monsters on this map that I'm fighting, when they die, with voices turned off, their death animations take 3 seconds longer for some reason. It makes no sense whatsoever. But on a map like this, there's 8 enemies here, and it's average like 3.25 seconds that you lose per death animation. So I mean, that's over 24 seconds lost right there. That's actually 26 seconds, I think. I'm trying to math on the fly, and I'm not doing well with it.
No, that was 26.
Perfect. But yeah, 26-second loss for that, and I lose on this map only half a second from Will yelling "Ha" when he casts Volley's Awakening. So that's a pretty good trade-off, I'd say. But the entire tutorial had all monsters, no voice clips. So between the tutorial and just this map alone saves, I believe it's about 53 seconds by having voices on. which is weird. Which is kind of weird considering it does waste some time, but you lose more from the death animations. I'd still love to know why that happens, but I'm no programmer, and I'm not going to bother looking into it. I'm just going to accept that it happens.
Because video games.
Yeah, we can go with that. Oh, wow, Will dodged. Good job. Not that it matters here, because I can't counterattack it. He's 2 panels away this time. This bat was a bit smarter than the first one. But yeah, you can see all the enemies I have to deal with. The boss enemy is all the way up the top, but this map requires that I kill everything in order to clear the map. You would think using a plume on this map would be helpful, but it's actually not, because you still have to travel around the entire thing. It does save a decent amount of time, but not enough to justify a plume. The plume ends up being a lot faster on the next map. On this one, though, because Volley's Awakening is worn off, I have him cast Firestorm, just to generate a little bit of extra combo gauge, which allows Will to go into his Soul Crush, which is giving me enough damage to kill this bat. Occasionally, with the damage ranges, I can get this bat down without it, but it's not very likely at the levels I'm at. The next couple are a little bit more reliable because I gain a level I gain levels on all 3 characters right here. But yeah, there's not really much else to talk about with this map. Meta, if you got some donations, go for it.
I do. I have a $100 donation from Light Eagle that says, someone gets strongest of names in Breath of Fire race. And I'm fairly certain I know that's Doof.
Doof.
Because Doof. We also have a $100 donation from Tyler the Driver that says, good luck, Dragondarch. Big shout out to everyone working behind the scenes to make this event happen. Looking forward to a great week for a great cause. Donation to Runner's Choice.
I actually want to give a quick shout out here to Sniper Wave and Huang, who have actually been working on this game. So as it turns out, when I was rerouting this a couple weeks ago, they were also rerouting this at the same time independently, and I don't think either of us knew the other was working on a route. So we've both been kind of working on getting the time down with our own individual routes, but they've actually there's some battles that I know for a fact that they do faster than me. I just by the time I had my route and found out they had one as well, I didn't have enough time to practice theirs before the marathon started, because I had to, by the time I got mine done, I had to work the next 4 days, and there was just not enough time for me to relearn every fight. But big shout out to them for finding a lot of new tech for this run. We're pretty sure we can get a sub 150 run with this when we put all of our knowledge together and come up with and actually just utilize everything we've got at our disposal. We're pretty confident sub 150 is going to happen. A big shout out to them for working on this and finding a lot of what they have. And if you got time for more donations, go for it.
Oh, baby. We have a $75 donation from Anonymous that just says, go Genya. Although I call him Genja, and, well, he gave me some pretty unhappy looks.
As he should.
I'll just call him 23. We have a $15 donation from Anonymous that says, Doof Doof is power, Doof Doof is life. We have a $5 donation from RPD234 that says, Hack Hack Dragondarch.
No, we don't want mentions of Draken right now, please. We want the marathon to continue, not what happened before the run.
We have a $20 donation from Royal Blue Wizard that says, good luck with the run, D-Darch. May Covenant of the Plume treat you better than, well, your other infamous game that has multiple names. Which one is your favorite name out of all those that you've been told?
Oh, I go with Dangerous Buildings still.
Oh, it's a strong one. It's a strong
Unsafe
one.
tenements.
Hostile hostels. Terrible domiciles.
We could be here all day.
Oh, we could.
Let's-
I have over 100 of these things now.
He does. He does. All right, we also have a $20 donation from Warren Queenie that says, looking forward to an awesome week. Thanks to all the staff and runners who make this possible. We have time for a quick one? Another quick one?
One more.
Okay. We have a $5 donation from Shiwa that says, day one of RPGLB hype, a week of unproductivity. That makes sense.
Yay to productivity.
Also, Someone say hi to Yaga for me. Yaga, put the money towards whatever the rabbi wants. Trump. What does the rabbi like most?
He likes Trump.
That's true.
Sharifa,
Frogs.
you are all that matters to me.
That voice clip you just heard from Loxwell only happens if Sharifa is participating in the exact same fight that he is. Otherwise, he will never say it, to my knowledge. Okay, so we're finally going to take out the final enemy in this. This battle's actually gone exactly as I've planned, outside of having to use one extra Soul Crush that I didn't want to. Will's going to get hit from the side here. I can't counterattack this, but we had to draw her out somehow. Gwendol was brought in solely so I have an extra character to fight this fight with, because I need 4 characters for the damage output. You can do it with 3, but it's not terribly likely. And even with Will's Soul Crush, only the 3 of them without Gwendol is not quite enough to take him down. You'd have to get kind of behind her, and then hope you can generate enough red gems that you can take her down as well. So I'm just basically going to get into this and mash all 4 buttons here, so everybody does all their attacks. We're going to generate a lot of hits. We're going to finish with Gwendol because he actually hits the hardest right now. He's also got a really good Irish voice, because why not? You'll get to hear a really good line from him in a little while. I won't spoil it, but it's a really good one.
How long am I to babysit this runt?
That one's pretty good too.
Most of his are really the voice acting's really good, especially for a DS game.
So just a note, he really doesn't like Will. Oh, so I met Sin here. I didn't need to meet Sin here. It's not a big deal. It just gets rid of a Realm Stalker on the next map, which doesn't matter because the next map. Well, I'll wait until we get into it to explain that. First, I'm gonna do a little bit of shopping and then actually a bit of menuing before this. Let's see. Okay, Crystal Wand. 3 ways of dashing. And 1 copy of why is Frigid Names the last? I shouldn't have been there. Okay, whatever, it works. My notes are a little backwards because I'm great at notes. All right, so I'm gonna put Sharifa on Y. I need to learn dashing on all of them, and I also need to learn Frigid Damsel here. We're gonna go ahead and just take care of this right now so I don't forget. Change him over to Frigid Damsel. Not so much for this fight, but for the next one. Okay, so the mechanic we talked about earlier, the plume mechanic, that is going to come into play right now. But I need Sharifa to be able to get far enough, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. Over there. So it even gives you a big warning right there. It says, if you do this, the character's dead. She's not coming back. But like I said, she's the worst damage dealer in the game, and her plume ability is really good. It paralyzes all enemies on the map for 3 turns, except the enemy leader.
Something is
And as has been mentioned before, there's also 10 times. She also gets 10 times her normal stats. So she is gonna just destroy this map. I'm gonna do a little bit of safety here. Normally I don't bother killing this guy. But I'm gonna grab an extra item off this for the 150% sin. It's gonna make the final battle a little bit more safe. I don't need the item strictly. I've done it without it. But I'm taking it just in case because there's some RNG in that last one. But now every enemy on the map is currently paralyzed except for the leader down here, who's just gonna stay put because we're not close enough. And Sharifa's just gonna walk down and show him what's what. I also bought these. This dashing ability. Dash gives you an extra 3 panels of movement, but you can only wait after finishing up with the movement. You can't attack or do anything like that. It just gives you 3 extra panels. It is an extremely good ability, especially for archers and mages who only normally have 3 panels of movement to begin with. So she's gonna kind of walk down here. These enemies, don't worry about them. They're fine. And the boss, even though he can see this glowing red archer assassin here walking towards him, is just calmly going to sit in place.
I mean, what else would you do when a trained assassin glowing red is charging right at you?
And then she's going to walk up and, well, things are going to happen. Well. So yeah, like we mentioned earlier, her stats are multiplied by 10. You are basically invincible in this state. And I generated enough synths that I get the 150%, but as mentioned before, the character is gone permanently now. And they actually have a cutscene after whenever you plume somebody that shows their dying moments. And for Charifa, Loxwell is present because she dies and he's her father. It's kind of a touching scene, but we're not going to watch it, unfortunately. I am not chancing this. This next fight's kind of tough. I'm going to make a quick safety save here. I also need to quickly equip the Falchion on him. Everything else should be set up properly. This fight, we're going to be fighting an actual boss in this fight. And I can get her down without needing to plume or anything like that. It's just really tight on the damage, and I have to not make any mistakes. Unfortunately, saving when the next battle is on the same map or in the same area that you were just in requires you to exit out to the world map, which does eat a bit of time. Alright, so I'm just going to set my places here. We're going to put Gwendol on Y. Will goes on B. Will goes on X. And then it's Darius on B, and then Loxwell on A. They're set up specifically like this so they can actually reach where the boss is going to be standing, because Gwendol and Darius cannot be taught dash yet. They can't until the next chapter, so only Will and Loxwell have access to it. So I need to make sure that they are closest so they can actually get over here. So Will's going to move right here. This is very specific. Also, the items I picked up in map 1-2 were these might potions, which I'm going to need for this map as well. Move him next. Dash him over here.
I never miss.
Don't worry about what he says. He's old and senile. You need to go right there. We're going to use one of the spell potions I picked up on him. I actually forgot to equip the magic dangle on him, but that shouldn't matter. So the enemies hopefully move in the way I want them to. He's going to walk up and attack Darius. That's why I had him facing this way so he doesn't get stunned or anything. The only danger here is that the enemy could possibly crit, which he did not, so we're good. I'm not going to bother counterattacking because I don't need to kill this guy, and Darius is still level 10 and fairly weak. The rest of the enemies are going to move. Only one other one is actually going to get in range to do any attacks, and it's going to be this guy. He's going to hit Gwendol with a poison blow. Gwendol might get poisoned, which is not a big deal. It's just one hit, does like 200-something damage. Oh, 300. Wow, that was a high damage roll. And then the rest of the enemies are just kind of move around, try to get closer. But I moved in this specific manner, so the boss is going to move directly next to Will. She has 5 movement range, but she's a rogue, so she can only attack in the cardinal direction. She cannot attack diagonally at all. And that is huge for this. And I'm going to position my characters at her diagonals, so she cannot do anything. And also, I did not accidentally use dash this time instead of Volley's Awakening, so I didn't lose 7 minutes. Yes, that's a thing. I've done that. I learned from my mistake. I meant to use that on himself. Whoops. Oh well, that shouldn't be a big deal. Right, so we don't want to mess this up. So Loxwell first. Will comes in from the back. Stun. Good. Gwendol first because he hits weaker, because Will is under Volley's Awakening right now, so he's going to be doing the most damage. I needed to get enough gauge out of that, so Will would be able to do one immediately after it. We're going to hope this is enough damage. If it's not a big deal. I can initiate another attack. I have one with Loxwell. Nope, not enough. I did need that Might Potion on Gwendol for that. That was my mistake, so it's going to take one more round to take her out. Not a huge loss because, like I said, we're at her diagonal, so she cannot counterattack, which is huge because she will kill somebody every time she attacks. Do not attack him. Just do not attack him. I've done that before, too. Okay, so Will's just going to come in and get a little overkill just for fun. And boss down. Normally, I can get her down in 1, but the damage is really, really tight on this. And if I get bad damage rolls, I couldn't have gotten it anyway. But the Might Potion on Gwendol gives him just enough extra damage that we can get her down in 1 combat. So it's only like a 15-second loss, which isn't that big of a deal. And that was basically Chapter 2. Dan, if you want to quickly go over what actually happened in Chapter 2, because we didn't explain that very much.
This is the one that I spaced a little bit, but there's a in the land of Artolia, where this whole game takes place, there's a lot of things going on, which we'll get into more detail later. But there's a peasant uprising. I believe it's over bad harvests, if I'm not mistaken.
Initially, yes, I think that is.
That's what it was.
About.
And the 3 paths you choose determine whether you're aiding the rebels, whether you're part of, I think it's like Vilnor's military expedition or something.
Yes, you can be hired by it.
The third option that we choose, which escapes my mind as far as what exactly it was. I remember you explaining that one.
Yeah, it was. We were basically hired by, I think, the Vilnor army to basically come in and basically incite the rebellion and then kill all of them and then frame it on somebody else. And then afterwards, all the mercenaries would be killed, so there were no witnesses. They weren't going to be paid; they were going to be killed. It's basically the path where you are the biggest jerk to everybody. So of course we go that way, right? Okay, I need
again, really happy chipper game.
Okay, I need to be able to see my notes for this. No, please buy. I need 1 Lotus Wand. I need Might Reinforce, Spell Reinforce, 1 Art of Enlightenment. I could have gotten that last chapter too, and 2 Ways of Dashing. There we go. All my shopping's done for this chapter. We've got a guest mage in the party now too. Her name's Rosea. We're going to actually be using her a little bit. I'm going to do my menuing before the fight. So let's see. You need Enlightenment. Spell Reinforce, Might Reinforce. You need Dashing. And you need Dashing as well. I need to give him the Lotus Wand. I also need to give him the Magic Bangle. Double checking all this. Why is Dashing after those? Oh, whatever. Okay, just need to set Enlightenment. I'm going to make a quick safety save here, even though I saved at the beginning of the chapter. This fight usually isn't a big problem, but I'm just making absolute sure. I'm going to be safety saving a lot. Because things can, if one thing goes wrong, it snowballs pretty hard. Alright, so for this one, Will is on Y. Loxwell is on X, and Rosea is going to go here. Rosea starts a bit higher level than Loxwell, so she's going to be doing quite a bit more damage, but Loxwell has our buff spells now. Might Reinforce and Spell Reinforce increase your attack power or your magic power respectively for, I believe it's 4 turns. I forget exactly because I usually don't give it time to wear off. But it's a pretty nice boost. You can see he's at 374 from volleys, and then I'm going to pop Might Reinforce on him, and that's going to jump it up into the 500s. So he's going to be doing a lot of damage right now. And Rosea starts at level 18. Loxwell's only like, I think it was at 14. I don't pay attention too much to what their levels are. I just know things work. But these 2 beetles here are going to walk up, and they're going to hit Will a couple of times. Hopefully I don't get stunned on the second round, and Will can counterattack one of them to death. This one they can't because they're both attacking from the front. But they're 2 squares away, so I can't counterattack. I don't know why beetles can attack from 2 squares away either. They don't appear. They use a melee attack, so I don't know. They're both going to attack. One from the side, one from the front. Good, no stun. So this one will go down in 1 shot. Don't get any Sin for it. For this map, I want to just meet Sin. I want to get the minimum. Not because I need the items, because I don't want the Realm Stalker on the next map. It's not a big deal if I don't hit it, because I'm going to be pluming on the next map anyway. But it wastes some time because the Realm Stalker has a really high resistance to paralysis. And that's going to come into play on the next map. So I'm going to go with Loxwell first so I can Spell Reinforce on Rosea. Because she's higher level, has higher magic than he does, and she has one of the better attacks in the game. She has Sacred Javelin, which you can't actually buy until Chapter 4. She's actually going to do quite a bit of damage here, and I'm going to aim to get 100% Sin off this guy. Yeah, you can see, basically, I just completely ruined him. Full 100 Sin for that, and the next guy I should hopefully get the 100 off of as well.
I long for the peace of the shadows.
Sure you do, Loxwell. And I'm just going to continue moving everybody up. The only tough enemy in this is that blue beetle you see over there. It's an armor beetle. It has more HP and a little more defense. And I'm going to have to use a couple of 1 or 2 soul crushes, usually 1, to get it down. Gwendol is literally just here to initiate 1 attack. I could theoretically do it with only 3 characters if I really wanted to, but it's a little risky if I don't get quite enough damage, or if I don't get enough attack gauge points to get a soul crush. Rose going to move forward. We're going to spell reinforce himself. This is a bit more of a safety, just to make sure I've got enough damage output for this. Rose is going to initiate this next attack against the beetle in the far end here, since both mages can reach it. Mages always have 3 range, which is actually really, really nice. Yeah, okay, I got more than enough sin now. I need 150. I've got like 190, so I'm good to go. The next guy, like I said, has more HP, more defense and everything, so I'm going to need... I just need the extra attack gauge stuff from Gwendal, mostly, and so we can initiate the attack itself. You can hear the wonderful voice acting of Gwendal there.
Finishing. Grim vengeance.
All right, we got it down.
How does...
Nice quick fight. No, I don't want to do any more Soul Crushes flanks.
For you.
And that's 3-1.
Father.
The next fight, I'm going to make a safety save before it because something really dumb happened in a run not that long ago. I got like the worst possible RNG that could happen. One of the enemies I really needed to get paralyzed didn't end up getting paralyzed and then crit one of my characters to death on the next turn, which normally doesn't happen. Crits are not terribly common. But I'm going to make a safety save in case something dumb happens. I also cannot make a save after this fight because I go directly into the next one, so this is kind of a backup for that in case something stupid happens there too. So it's just Will to Y, Will to B, Darius to A. Oh, no, Will to B, Darius to A. That works. Okay, so you're going to see the first use of Gleipnir's Bonds, which is the ability I got from pluming Sharifa. And on this map, I'm going to basically use it to keep everything paralyzed so he can make his way up to the boss. So what happened, the really weird thing that happened, was that living armor right there did not get paralyzed, which is really rare because those are usually the ones that aren't a problem, and then walked up and crit Gwendal to death, which I had never seen happen prior to that. But you'll notice that I also just buffed Will's magic power. So all of these special abilities are based off of Will's magic stat, which he's a swordsman, which they usually don't have terribly good magic, but Will actually has the magic growth of a mage to make up for that. So I buffed Will's magic power to make it more likely he's going to hit with Gleipnir's Bonds. And it did get all 3 of them, so we're good. So we're actually perfectly fine here. I don't need to buff Gwendal or anything. He's going to be more than enough to take this out. Also, here comes one of the best lines of dialogue in the game. After Will gives his little spiel here.
Unto me thy power yield.
What's happening to me?
Yeah. He kind of slurs what's happening to me. He has some pretty good dialogue, I'll admit. It's kind of a shame we have to plume him so early, but his special ability is the main one of the speed run. His gives us a random chance of not random chance, it gives us a chance of instant death on attack based on the character's magic stat. And it's going to come into play in the very next map. So it's very important that we plume him early so we can start abusing that. But first, we're just going to completely annihilate her.
Ow! Ow!
How long am I to babysit this runt?
Not much longer. So that's the entire map. I killed the boss in 1 hit. And Gwendal is now dead permanently. Please, mash better. So yeah, here's the cutscene with him dying. And then there's a cutscene with... so this cutscene here is actually up in Asgard. Odin and Freya have kind of taken notice that you're doing things that you shouldn't be doing. And then there's a confrontation between Rosea and Lieselota, who's now joined my party. Because reasons.
Should we explain, because I didn't get to go into the whole nature of the whole title, actually, the Covenant of the Plume.
Go for it.
Next time we have an opportunity. I don't know if this is a good opportunity.
Let me explain instant death real quick first.
Go ahead.
what we've got here, we're going to use Vaegr's Warcry. This activates the instant death, and as I said, instant death is based off of your magic stat. So mages on almost every attack have a 100% chance to hit with this. And this entire map, nothing is immune to instant death, so this happens. And keep in mind, Lisa Lotta just joined us, and she's a mage, so I've got 2 mages to work with right now. So this entire map revolves around getting the mages in range of attacking things and abusing the instant death. Also, I like to call this map Get Will and Loxwell Caught Up in Levels, because this is where the enemies kind of ramp up a lot in difficulty and in how much experience they give. And Will and Loxwell are very behind in levels right now. To give an idea, Lisa Lotta joined at level 24. We're like level 15 coming into this fight. They're going to walk out, I think, close to... they're going to walk out like in the upper teens at this point. But they're going to be getting level... I think they get like 4 or 5 levels out of this. It's pretty ridiculous. But yeah, if you want to go over the story of this chapter real quick.
So I was going to backtrack, actually, because we never got to explain the whole blooming thing.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
So at the end of the second battle, Will is actually killed and like on the verge of death, and Hel, the goddess on the Nordic goddess of the underworld, takes notice. Also notices how mad he is at the Valkyrie, all of his rage, and makes a deal with him. She'll revive him and bring him back if he agrees to create as much sin as possible, to create as much bloodshed as possible. And if he does that in return, she claims she'll help him kill the Valkyrie. Well, that's all he ever wanted in life, and agrees to it. And the way he has to do it is by sacrificing people that are very close to him, people that have a lot of trust in him, and basically condemning them to death. And the Covenant of the Plume is imbuing them with power in exchange for killing them afterwards. Going back to this particular chapter, if memory serves, it's Artolian Court. There's a death of the Archmagus Sir Senair, and there's a plot. There's 3 different paths now that this game takes, depending if you've sacrificed 0, 1, or 2 characters in chapter 2. So we're on the B path, correct?
Yep.
Having sacrificed only Sharipa in the second chapter, and the guy who's behind it all, Foxnell, puts the blame on Lisa-Lot and Rosea, who are both exiled, and we're dealing with the fallout from all of that. In the bottom path, where you have sacrificed 2 characters, Rosea joins you. In the middle path, and along with another character that we don't care about. In the middle path, which we're on, Lisa-Lot joins permanently. And strangely enough, on the good path, the top path, you haven't sacrificed anyone. The guy who's behind it all, the guy who orchestrated the assassination plot, Foxnell is the guy who joins you, who's also a mage.
Actually, he doesn't join until chapter 4. You get a samurai in chapter 3 who's just kind of visiting the land, because why not add a samurai to the game randomly?
No, I think it's he's adopted by the guy who's assassinated.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He was adopted by...
Sir Senair's adopted, like he's like washed up on the shores from, and I'm not making this up, from the land of Yamato, because why not? And because he's there, because he's from there, he becomes a samurai, even though he's raised in Artolia.
Makes sense.
Of course.
But yeah, what happened in the cutscenes before this is that Lisa Lotta and we confronted Lisa Lotta with Rosea, and Lisa Lotta set up a trap basically after the fight and killed Rosea. Like, she's gone as well. And then you get caught by the palace guard, and you're just associated with Lisa Lotta because you're right next to her. It's like, well, you're here, you must be with her. So we're blaming you as well. So now we're just trying to escape. And, well, we escaped all right. We instant deathed him to death. And that was all of chapter 3. There's a lot of cutscenes here to skip. And now Asgard is still taking notice, like, what's going on here? I'm actually not going to save, because I'm going to save before the next fight.
Yeah, it's possible, actually, to plume too many characters. And if you plume too many characters in a single chapter, at the end of the chapter, Asgard realizes what's going on, and Freya comes to pay a visit. And by pay a visit, we mean kill you.
Yeah, it's basically a game over ending, if you will. Okay, I need 2 Deluge Scepters. 2 copies of Sacred Javelin. I need 1 copy of Suspend Motion. 3 Arts of Defiance. Where are those? Wait, I need an art. No, she already has Enlightenment. That's right. 3 copies of Defiance, 1 Dashing, and 3 Silence checks. Yes, notes are handy. So I'm going to skip a couple of cutscenes, then I'll go out and do my menuing and make a safety save. This next fight usually isn't that big of a deal, but some really weird stuff can happen. The enemies behave very erratically in this one. A lot of maps we can actually kind of manipulate what's going on, manipulate all their movement and everything, but this next one kind of resists that. The enemies have some weird buffs and debuff spells that will sometimes get in the way of it. All right, so you need to use Defiance. Loxwell needs Defiance as well. You also need Suspend Motion and Sacred Javelin. No, you don't need to do that. I need you, not you. You need Sacred Javelin as well. You need Defiance. You need Dashing. Just making sure I got everything here. I need you to equip this. And the Silence check. You don't need anything right now. He'll come into play later. No weapons for you. I need silence checks on all 3 of them. Yes, it seems weird that I'm putting a silence check on Will, but I'll explain that in just a moment. So I need to set Defiance on you, and then on you, and then set it on you as well. And then I need to set her attack. I'm going to switch over to Lightning Bolt, and then he's going to switch over to Sacred Javelin. Ooh, I wanted to save. Yeah, beginning of the chapter always has like the longest amount of menuing. Chapter 5 has the longest menu in the game. You have a ton of shopping, and then you have to do all the settings to everybody right then and there. Chapter 4 is kind of long too, but this Chapter 5 takes the cake just because you get a whole bunch of new stuff. You get 2 new characters, and yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. All right, so now for the fight itself. We're going to hope everything goes right here. So I need you on X. I need Reinhilda here. I need Loxwell there. Alright, so Reinhilda just is a guest character in this. I can't do anything special with her. I can just use her in the combats. But she is an archer as well. But she, unlike Sharifa, has the highest attack multipliers in the game and also has the strength growth of a warrior instead of an archer. So she is extremely powerful. And it's really fortunate that she joins in this path. She also has she has a Soul Crush that has, we kind of joke about the voice acting behind it, and you'll get to hear it shortly here. But there was another, there was another path, there was an older path that didn't use the instant death route, where you got to hear this Soul Crush a lot because you needed a lot of damage output. In this one, less so, but it still comes up with a couple of enemies. Okay, good. He did not. The rogues here, those ones with the yellow hair and kind of wearing the t-shirts, those ones can cast Sap Power, which is a debuff to the attack stat. If they cast it on Reinhilda, it's kind of a minor problem, so we're just going to hope they don't. Okay, so far they did not. That's good. We're going to move Will down, and we're going to actually activate Instant Death now. Now we're going to start the Carnage. You're going to start here with this guy. Switched over to Lightning Bolt, not for this fight specifically, but for the next one. The next one, I can't use Sacred Javelin because one of the enemies is going to be immune to holy damage, and I need her to be able to kill it. So I have to go with Lightning Bolt instead.
To work up a sweat.
Oh, so she's very arrogant. Just an FYI. Move her down. We're going to take out this guy. We're going to leave the one in front of Will. That way, hopefully, he only gets attacked once, because Will is fairly behind in levels right now. And he's not terribly difficult to kill. One of the abilities I did set on him, though, was Defiance, which halves all damage, which makes it a little more likely he'll survive, but it's still kind of dangerous with his low levels.
To work up a sweat.
Loxwell, however, is out of AP. On the first turn, you saw me cast Sacred Javelin from the menu. It does less damage, has a slightly higher chance of doing the status effect, but also gives you a lot more range on it. And I did that to trigger an archer way over in the back there, who otherwise would not trigger unless I moved really close to him. Not spell reinforcement, he might reinforce on her. But it wasted 80 AP, and I was able to hit that archer by targeting a part of the wall that I normally can't even move onto. Okay, good. This guy's going to move first, which means he won't attack Will. Oh, you go right ahead and sap power Will right now. Will is only here to generate attack points, attack gauge points, so I can do Soul Crushes. This vampire here is casting, just cast Dark Savior from the menu, which has a pretty decent chance to silence, which is why I equipped the silence checks on everybody. Even Will needs one because using the dash ability is considered magic to a degree. So he would have, he actually would have, wouldn't have been able to dash if getting silenced. Oh, go right ahead and sap power on the mage too. That's perfect. The enemies aren't the brightest when it comes to casting these debuffs. Okay, so Will is going to take this guy out. Or not Will going to take him out. Lizalada's going to take him out because Will actually has a reasonable chance to hit with instant death because of his high magic growth. So he can't equip mage weapons like the staves, which boost magic even farther. So he's good at it, but not great. But he's better than pretty much every other character at it. I want to get a buff on Loxwell here, though. I want to get Spell Reinforced up on him. So I'm going to move her down first so I can get rid of this guy as well. Usually I just move her there and wait, because this guy... Normally one of those two will attack Will instead. And I just counterattack him to death.
Lightning bolt.
And then I'm going to move Loxwell down. Oh, crap. I moved her into the wrong spot now.
I've seen
but
worse, but not much.
This should be okay. It's usually not a big problem. I'm just a little concerned about Will right now. I'm going to move Loxwell down to... Actually, I can dash hit. Okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to dash Loxwell into the other position. Oh, he's out of AP. Okay, well, you're not doing that. We're going to move you here then. And you will move here, and we'll Spell Reinforce on Loxwell. That was my bad. I was supposed to move... I was supposed to move Reinhilda to the right of Will and not to the left. Shouldn't make a huge difference. I think he's going to go after Will. Oh, no, he's going after her. Weird. Enemies usually like to target the lowest HP character, or, in this case, a mage. I'm not going to bother counterattacking. I can't instant death this mage, though. The mage and the 2 living armors are completely immune to instant death. So it's just impossible to do on them. I'm hoping all these enemies are going to line up nicely for me here. Oh, you walked away. You don't usually do that. Okay, I'm going to move Will out here. Okay, good. I can get him with all of them. That's perfect. Mages go first. When they stop, we start attacking. I'm going to go with Reinhilda because her animation is the fastest and she has a good amount of attack power. Get used to hearing that, by the way. As I mentioned, she has the strength growth of a warrior, which makes her exceptionally good, especially with 4 attack range. She's going to basically be in every single fight from here to the end of the game. She's just that good. Move her down here first. Okay, good. I can reach that, and... Oh, she can't. Okay. Loxwell, you're going to come down first. Oh, I can't reach... Oh, I can reach him, though. Okay, whatever. We'll get him. Loxwell can get him. Usually don't have Loxwell do very much during this battle. I just want to get everybody in range so they can attack the living armor together, because I realistically need all 4 of them to get it down. I can probably do it without Will, but I'd rather not chance it. But I need to have everybody set up in the right way so I can get them towards the last enemy on the next turn. You're going next, so I can get this guy down. I'm going to hope he doesn't block very much.
So good.
Oh, nope. I almost canceled out of that, but I noticed at the last second that I didn't actually kill him. I just missed it. I know if I've killed him because the overkill message will come up. I was like a couple HP short. So I had to quickly do a soul crush there just to get enough damage on him. I don't care about Sin on this map. There's gonna be a realm stalker on the next map, no matter what. And I don't need any of the rewards here, but I just need to make sure I've got enough damage to kill everything. Okay, so now you're gonna come down here and we'll take this guy out. So instant death lasts for 3 turns, and it's just enough to get all of the enemies that are not immune to it on this map. And the last enemy who's going to start walking towards me now because I've actually moved off the stairs, is still immune to it, so it doesn't matter if it's up on the next turn. If you want to go over the story real quick for this chapter.
Yeah, chapter 4 is mostly dealing with House Balmer and Reinhilda and her husband August, who are the two you recruit. We're now on the C path since we've sacrificed more characters. They're the oldest members, and they pass control, I think it's to their oldest son, Balmer, who I don't think we get to see him very much, especially with the speedrun. But their middle son, Nicholas, dies, and he's apparently really important despite being a generic NPC, and everyone in House Balmer they're known as being a warlike house until someone dies, because I guess once they see someone die, they're no longer a cool war. And they all kind of no longer really want to be involved with it and start withdrawing from it. So, depending on what path you're on, Chapter 4, no matter what, will deal with this family. Who's supposed to be one of the most powerful military forces in Artolia. How it shakes out depending on... it shakes out differently depending on what route you're on. And in this route, all three of August's and Reinhilda's children are killed. They're taken by the Valkyrie. Again, because mortals don't really understand how the whole process works. Both parents go to Will and be like, "You're on a quest to kill the Valkyrie? The Valkyrie took everything from us too, because we don't understand how it works. Let's go."
One quick correction. It's House Han, not House Valmer. Valmer is the son that would join you on the B path.
You're right. My apologies for that. Brain fart.
All right,
There's a lot we're keeping track of.
So, starting chapter 4-2, you can plume once in chapters 3 and 4 without Freya come down and getting really irritated with you. So we're going to plume in this map, and I'm going to plume a character that you probably wouldn't think I'd plume here. Let's see, I need Loxwell on X, I need Will here, and then we're just not going to have the other character here. I only need 3 characters for this, because like I said, I'm pluming here. And the less number of characters, the better to a degree, because it kind of manipulates the enemies a little bit. And the big enemies I'm looking to manipulate are across the river. I'm going to have her wait. I'm going to have him spell reinforce on her.
And this map actually does a good job of exemplifying one of Valkyrie Profile's running jokes, where you have to rescue a character who dies at the end anyway.
Yeah, that happens. However, she dies during the map, you game over.
Yeah.
And she doesn't move, and she will attack. If anything is in range, she will attack it. So we're just going to hope that I don't get the bad RNG here. So we're going to find out. The archer and the archer and the sorcerer, or not archer and the swordsman. Okay, swordsman gave me good RNG. Archer gave me good RNG. Perfect. If either one of them go right and go after Fiona instead, you lose 50 seconds per bad RNG set. So first thing we're going to do, we're down here with Loxwell. We're going to spell reinforce on Will, because we're going to be doing Gleipnir's Bonds on the next turn, or on his next turn anyway. But Lieselota is going to do something really nice here. We're going to take Sacred Javelin that I bought for her earlier, and we're going to nuke these guys from across the river. The Archer's really a pain because her attack animations take forever, and she will just attack. She will attack Fiona every single turn if she gets in range of her, and it just wastes so much time. And as a bonus, the Golem was sitting in the right spot for me to hit with both of them with Sacred Javelin, so I did it all in one combat, which saves a full round of combat, which is like 15 to 20 seconds most of the time. And it just eliminates a big time waster here. You need to do Gleipnir's. We're gonna stand in this exact spot because when the swordsman over there wakes up, he's gonna get a little confused and he's gonna try to go after Will, even though Will's on the other side of the river. And now everything is paralyzed, so I'm just gonna be walking down and kind of taking things out on the way. So we need to dash on this turn. We're only gonna be able to dash every other turn, otherwise she doesn't have enough AP to do it. Unfortunately, Loxwell, oh good, he can get in range of her. I need Loxwell to tag along so he can actually initiate some attacks for Lieselota here.
Lightning bolt.
But yeah, now she's hitting for, 4,200 to hit. Nothing can survive this. Even that Realm Stalker over there. Realm Stalkers, we haven't really talked about them that much. They're sort of a penalty. They're sort of the game's way of making you meet sin, at least, on every single map. Because a Realm Stalker will replace one of the other enemies that was on the map initially, and they usually have about double the stats of what you would normally be dealing with. They're basically there to say, you spawned one of these, you're going to have to plume somebody here to get around it, and most of the time you can't deal with it without a lot of effort.
Or being on New Game Plus.
Yeah, that too. that does work as well.
Yeah, because there actually are little bonuses depending on which Realm Stalker you use.
Lightning bolt.
But
you get novelty items
yeah,
basically
you're
for
not
killing
gonna,
them all.
You're not doing it on a fresh file.
No, generally no. I think it's definitely
Well, is it good
possible,
for
but it's
you?
really hard.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's not.
You're not meant to by any stretch. They're basically forcing you into a plume usually.
And one of the other aspects, when you plume someone, you've probably noticed by this point, your Sin gauge is set to 100%. So I think it's 350 was the requirement here?
250 for this one.
250, sorry.
If you had gotten Sin prior to that, it doesn't matter. Like, it just negates it. It just sets it to 100%, regardless of what you've gotten prior to it. So it's best to do that very early. Rather than late, unless you need to like paralyze everything. In some maps, we'll paralyze before doing before casting Gleipnirs, just to make sure everything's stunned, so they're not moving around and initiating attacks and everything. I don't know if Loxwell's gonna be able to reach this guy. She can attack, but I don't really want her to. We'll just dash. It's fine.
Take this.
I'll make it work. Can he reach? Oh yes, just barely. Sweet. I couldn't remember if Loxwell could reach from that point. So Loxwell's usefulness here is done. Weaselar is going to finish the map up for us.
Lightning bolt. Was it good for you?
But yeah, we have some time for donations if you got them.
Oh, do I ever.
You sounded a little bit too excited for that, Meta.
Oh yeah. We have a $200 donation from I'm a Squirrel.
Ooh. So I'm a squirrel?
Yep.
How is it that nobody has donated for this? Naming the Soul Blazer main character Everhate.
That should be a thing. I get behind that.
I can agree. We also have a $50 donation from the RPG Valkyries. To me, my noble Einherjar. The Valkyries are proud to help support a noble cause. All of Valhalla is counting on you, RPG Limit Break.
There's some irony with that
I've
because
seen worse.
we're doing nothing
but
but
not much.
draw their ire.
Oh, we are making them very, very irritated right now.
We haven't scratched the surface.
We also have a $75 donation from Cosmic Approach. Hi, RPG Limit Break. Thanks for running such a great event. I'm a digital artist, so it's keeping me company all day while I work. I'm super excited for the Disgaea 5 run, so I just had to donate to make sure that I get to see my favorite game's DLC get played. All hail Disgaea 4. Anyway, good luck to all the runners, and keep up the fantastic work. We have a $5 donation from Koal Lazy that says, just wishing Dragondarch good luck on the run, and also, Bubsy, 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 Bobcat.
What could possibly go wrong?
Hey, Koal.
What's up, Koal?
We still have time?
One more.
Okay. We have a $33.33 donation from Furritskin that simply says, Perilous Pylons,
Was it
Murderous
good for you?
Obelisks. Yeah, I butchered that one.
It's fine.
And Baneful Bastions.
I can't escape that. So for this map, I actually did need 200% Sin, but because I plumed, it was really easy to get my hands on. One of the items from this map is called the Offinus Bow, which is basically one of the best bows in the game. It's ridiculously powerful, especially when we put it on Reinhilde and what we do with it in the next chapter. Also, Fiona died after that map because reasons. And
Because it's Valkyrie profile Covenant of the Plume.
yeah, and Valmar kind of went crazy, thinking she hadn't really died. She's just playing hide and seek, and yeah.
Also, that Nicholas was alive too, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
he runs off never to be seen again.
Yep, pretty much. All right, I need to get my notes. This is the longest menu in the game right here.
Holy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dan's looking at the notes. It's like, oh my god. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff.
It's a full Excel sheet.
So 2 Damascus swords, 1 Brawl Knuckles, 1 Deluge, no, Ether Scepter. And then I need 1 copy of Dark Savior, 2 Arts of Defiance, which is up here. Where is it? Right here. 2 Arts of Defiance, 2 Ways of Dashing, that should be up here. 3 Fists of Iron, 1 Paralyzed check, 1 Freeze check, 1 Silver Helm, 1 Anointed Crown, 1 Mithril Tiara, Flame Armor, and Valor Greaves.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm going to go out and make a safety save here, too, just in case, but I'm going to do most of my menuing here as well. Let me scroll this down just a little bit more. Holy crap, this is too long. Alright, so I need to, let's see, use Fist of Iron on you. You need Dark Savior, which is right here. And then Stalking as well. You need Dashing and Defiance. Fist of Iron. Fist of Iron for you as well. Defiance as well. And Dashing as well. And then we go in here. We're going to equip you with the Brawl Knuckles and nothing else. You get the Oftenus Bow. You also get the Mithril Tiara. And you also get the Paralyzed check. You get a Damascus Sword. You get Ether Scepter, Anointed Crown, the Elephant's Head I got from the last map. You also get Freeze check. You're going to get everything replaced here. And then I'm going to set all these things as well. Fist of Iron for you. Let me double check, make sure. Yeah, wow. Holy crap, the menu's off the bottom of the screen. Okay.
Next time you're going to need to make the font smaller.
I probably should have.
Or just condense your notes.
Okay, I need to set ill injection to 3. That should be everything I need to do. Hello, please, menu. Don't do that. I'm just double checking because this is such a long menu and everything, so I should be good. All right. Now we'll make my save. I've actually done that menu by memory, but I do not want a chance not doing something because bad menus are, missing anything in a menu can really, really mess things up. All right, so I need Will on Y, Locks Will on X. X, I don't know why that says that. Okay, Augusta here, Reinhardt here. There we go. Now we can actually start fighting again. And the rest of the notes, like all of Dan's looking at it, you guys can't see it. All of this is the rest of the chapter. This is just the first one.
Yeah, everything from this point forward is about half the size.
Okay, so first round we're going to do Vaegr's War Cry. We're going to activate Instant Death. But now we're going to use a new character to be doing my Instant Death. The Mage is still nice, but we're going to Spell Reinforce on Reinhilda. And she's going to start doing something really special. So remember that Oftenus Bow I was talking about? The Oftenus Bow, whenever you hit with it, hits twice. That's its special ability. And when you have Instant Death, that happens. You instantly fill the Sin Gauge because it just doubles it just straight up adds an extra hit for the same damage. But if the Instant Death procs, it does their max HP and damage, which then instantly fills the Sin Gauge because you did their max HP and damage twice. We're going to be abusing that on the next few maps to meet Sin requirements. For this one, I don't care about the items. I just care about meeting Sin, so I don't have a Realm Stalk run on the map after this. We also picked up Auguste, who isn't that great of a... He's an okay character. He has really high attack power, and he has 5 movement, but he can only attack in the cardinal directions. He can't attack diagonally at all. So his usefulness as an actual damage dealer isn't the greatest, and his weapons are pretty poor as well. So Reinhilda will usually beat him out. But for the most part, he's just going to be helping out by activating attacks for Reinhilda, so I can meet, like I said, meet Sin requirements. And I'm going to hope Will's going to counterattack this swordsman. I'm going to hope it connects. He gets 3 chances at it, so there's a pretty decent chance one of them is going to hit with it. I don't care about getting Sin off this guy. I just want him dead. He's going to hit a couple of times. I think it's 3. I always forget with this guy. And then, well, sword to the head. You're dead. Yeah, Instant Death is just a little bit broken. Just a little bit.
A fitting death for a pitiful wretch.
Well, the counterpoint, there's only 2 ways to get it, if memory serves. One is off of Vaegr's War Cry, the other is from a really hard-to-find knight.
Yeah, and that only one character can equip.
Yeah, Natalia is the only character who can equip it, from way back in Chapter 2. And I don't remember if it's available in the main game. It might be only Seraphim game.
I think you can get it in the main game as one of the Sin rewards, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head either.
Oh, so it should be noted, earlier in the game, Will was kind of more brooding over his father, and he was kind of, you know, more solemn when he'd give his, you know, if he was the last one to deliver an attack, he'd give the voice clip of, you know, for you, father, or the battle is won, or something like that. When you actually get onto the C ending path, like when you're locked into that, Will becomes an absolute jerk with how he starts acting.
We're more of a villain protagonist right now than anything.
Like, he knows what he's doing at this point.
Yeah, he's condemned so many of his close friends to death in particularly bad ways that, like I said, this is not a very happy game in general. It's really good, just
even the A path is pretty dark. Even when you're like the A path, the A ending, you cannot plume anybody for the entire game. And even on that path, it's pretty dark.
Yeah, it's noticeably less dark and depressing, but still not exactly a game that gives characters a happy ending.
So there's only one enemy left. Loxwell's going to go take care of him because instant death is still just barely active for this turn only. That takes care of this entire map. Fortunately, Reinhilde is not guaranteed to get those instant death procs, even with spell reinforce. Her magic is not, I mean, she doesn't have the greatest of magic growth. And the spell reinforce does help. It makes it about 75-80% that she's going to hit with them. But it's not guaranteed, and when she doesn't connect, especially if it's on the next map, it's a little bit of it becomes a bit more of a problem there. The next map, I actually do need 150% sin. It's an item I need to get from it. That's called the Power Bangle, which increases your attack power by whoever's attack power by 25%. We're going to be giving that to Reinhilde because she's really, really good. Like I said, I'm making safety saves all over the place here because I don't trust the game at all. It does things, really bad things for that matter.
That's a running theme for your speedruns, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I wish it weren't, but it is. Okay, so this is like the only map from here to the end of the game where I literally don't have to do anything before the fight. I just enter as is. Woo for no menuing. So if you want to go over story right now, that would be great.
Really briefly, this is so you might have noticed things kind of jump around.
バルキリープロファイルって自分初期のやつしか知らない、プレイステーションのしか知らないんですよね。これが3作目、まあこの配信がずっと見てたんですけど、3作目ということで、なんかもうシミュレーション RPG で、自分が知ってるものじゃないのかなと。
Independently with the succession crisis and causes a lot of violence from that. And the three paths you take, Chapter 5 will always deal with the same topic, but depending on where you are on the A path, B path, or in our case, the C path, depends on who wins the succession war and how cleanly it goes, how little bloodshed, and what kind of condition the nation's left afterwards. And because we're on the C path, the bad ending, we'll see what happens there. We wind up supporting Langry, who is the older brother, who his lineage and whether or not he's truly in line for the throne is questioned by the nobles. Why we're siding with him, I'm not sure, but we're siding with him against his younger brother Kristoff and their advisor Royenberg.
We side with him because we're introduced to him by House Han. When they actually decide to side with you, they're like, you know, we're going to introduce you to Prince Langry because we think he's the one who's the rightful successor. And they decide to introduce you because you've been doing so much work, basically.
この時間の担当者の方で、お名前これなんて読めばいいんだろうな。俺未だにわからないんだよな。
But they recognize your power and they're like, yeah, Langry's the one who should be in charge. We're going to introduce you to him and he's going to, and if you can help him out, that would be great. Langry's kind of a tyrant, basically. Do everything through military force, oppress the people, stuff like that. But he's a man of action and will do whatever it takes to make his ambitions happen. Kristoff is more like a good king, but doesn't kind of hesitates, doesn't want to doesn't want to cause too much havoc, and it leads to a lot of inaction, which is a big problem with what's going on right now.
And it wasn't a lot of like his advisors the ones who really are ruling it instead, if memory serves.
More or less, yeah. Also, I gave Reinhilde a paralyze check here because you saw that whirlwind attack. That can randomly paralyze, or usually paralyze. So I gave her that to make sure she does not get paralyzed in this by this one counter attack. Oh, nice dodge. You still got instant death. Good try. Good try. I'll give that Harpy props. That was a good try.
Did the Harpy learn from Griffin Bro how to dodge?
今は、
I didn't say it helped. I just asked if that was something that Griffin Bro taught her, but only had to do it once, not twice.
Yeah, she tried.
あ、ごめんなさい。ちょっと自分の設定が悪かったです。こちらこそすいません。ちなみにこれお名前なんて読めばいいんですか？で、
ケルビンと
レブン、
ケルビン、
ケルビン、ケルビンさんでよろしくお願いします。あと、まあこの後も自分と交代することがあるので、まあその時もよろしくお願いいたします。
よろしくお願いします。まあ今は、まあペルで日本語は防護じゃない？まあ学んでいますね。
はい。ちなみにどこの国の方なんでしょうか。自分そこら辺も全く知らないんですよね。
まあアメリカの下、南米。
ああ。
まあブラジルとか、アルゼンティーナ、その近くにペルーがいます。あれば。あれ。
そこから手伝っていただいてありがとうございます。
いや、問題ない。
結構解説の方が本当不足しているので、ぜひ解説していただける方いれば、ディスコードに入ってきていただいたりとか、あとコメントの方で記載していただけるととても助かりますので、よろしくお願いします。
はい。まあ、大丈夫見たかったと思った。最初に自信がなかった。でも
まあ、普通に話していただいてるだけでも全然構わないので、コメントの方でペルーの方なのかっていうコメントも来てますから、こういうコメント拾い上げて読んでいただけるだけでも全然違うと思うので。
So it has to finish that stun animation before it'll actually allow them to die.
Yeah, also just a really quick aside for those who aren't familiar.
で、君はマウスさん日本でどこで住んでいますか？
まあ、詳しいことは言わないですけど、まあ日本で住んで見ていますよ。本家の方を見てます。ちなみに。
ああ、そうですか。
I mean, assuming that Valkyrie doesn't dodge everything.
We hope not.
さすがに、こういうシミュレーションゲームで、これバグはあるんだっけ？同じ作業になってくると、だんだんとね、見てるのが飽きてくる人も出てくるんじゃないのかなとは思います。
で、何のゲームですか？で、そのポートは PC とかプレイステーション？
あ、これは DS ですね。そう、任天堂 DS の使ってやってるみたいですね。まあでも、DS は、あんまり一度も買ってなかった。普通にゲームボーイだけを ゲームボーイだけ
あります。はい、ゲームボーイとプレイステーション、Wii、まあそれだけありますね。
結構ありますね。
はい。
There we go.
いや、普通に PC の方はいいだと思うよ。
We don't do the mages soul crushes because
Steam とかの
even though they're usually pretty strong. They always have like
まあ今回の
most of the animation is not
ゲームの
actually
スケジュール
doing
にも
damage.
結構 Steam とかもあり、
After what I
Steam
would
の
call
ゲー
the
ムもあり
step
ますから
that
ね。
the damage starts, so they usually end up with a much longer animation. So I try to avoid mage ones if possible.
ぜひ
There
楽
we
し
go. I got
んで
150% sin, so I got
いま
that
す。
power bangle that I need on
は
Rhinhilda.
い、ぜひとも
The next map
楽
has
しんで
some
いただい
RNG
て、
to it based
いや
on what one particular enemy can do.
緊張せずに話していただければなと思いますが、私もすごい
I
緊
hope
張
he
してま
doesn't,
す。
but it's complete RNG on what happens here. Okay, I'm just gonna go through a quick
もう
cutscene
正
here.
直、バルキリープロファイル、これゲーム、私はやったことがないので、何やってるのかさっぱりわからないです。
I probably won't die or anything. I have backup strats in case bad
私
things
も
happen.
でも
But I
今の
should be able
奏
to
者は
just in case.
すごく早く話しています
Say that
ね
constantly because。this game does things a lot.
僕も英語は
Experience.
簡単にわかるでも
Power bangle.
翻訳のはちょっと難しいだと思った。あんまり接続はできない。説明の
説明ですね。翻訳というか説明が。もう本当、奏者の頃ずっと喋りっぱなしですよね。見てると、聞いてると。
They do waste a little bit of time, but I'd rather have a backup in case the worst happens.
南米はセガが強いって聞いたことがある。ジェネシスとか。ここら辺のセガ系のハードとかもやったことあるんですか？
セガ犬
セガの、
ああ、はい。
ゲーム。
はい、やったことある。
Fortunately, though, the dash ability is unaffected by terrain, so I can use that to my advantage. I'm going to be trying to get Loxwell down to the other end of the map relatively quickly, so I can make good use of instant death. But I do need a number of hits from Rhinhilda.
ちなみにこの奏者が言ってる方が言ってることってわかるんですか
？I really don't want to see a Realm Stalker on the next map. Not because it's dangerous, because I'm pluming on the next map anyway, but I don't want to initiate a couple of extra attacks that might actually interfere with some things that I'm going to try and do. So I want Rhinhilda to be getting these.
私は簡単な英語すらわからないですからね。
The characters actually have special battle voice, special lines of dialogue if you happen to get like a crit, and hers just happens to be off with your head.
I can talk in English like better than my Japanese, so it's really easier to talk like this, right?
You will get an instant kill. I believe so.
やばい、全然わかんない。本当ごめんなさい。英語とかわかんない。
I only need 300 sin here, so it's usually not a big problem to get.
昔ちゃんと勉強しておけばよかったなとか思いますよ。
But it depends on what you'll see it in just a second when these enemies start moving around.
証明してみたかった。今の英語。
On the next turn, he's gonna actually attack Loxwell, and he can use Great Magic, which is basically Soul Crush. And if he uses that, Loxwell
でも
dies.
日本では英語の
Nothing like
の勉強は
RNG on whether he decides to
そん
use
な
it.
に
So I just have to kind of pray that he doesn't.
like
Um,
bad like
it's not
そん
the
な
best
に
position to be in.
悪くない
You need to go over and attack this archer.
今は
Hopefully, Rhinhilda can get the double kill here.
まあ結構あるんじゃないかな。今のちょっと勉強方法がわからないんで、私結構おっさんなので。
Good. I'm set on sin.
自分の時は中学校から少しあったかな。けど私はバカなので全然英語とか苦手なんですよ、本当に。
まあ多分先生のせいでだと思います。
そういうことにしときますか。
But I'm gonna initiate the attack with Rhinhilda just in case. That way I have extra chances at it.
僕の中学生時にいっぱいの先生はあんまり
If I hadn't gotten it off the archer though, I would have tried for it right there with Rhinhilda instead. And if I failed to get it off him, there's a lancer I can potentially get off him after that. So I have a number of backup chances.
まあ自分で全部学んでましたの？
すごい。日本語もじゃあ自分で勉強してる？
今自分で勉強していますね。ドアとか、
So that's
コメント見た読んだりと
that's
か
part of
の
the RNG down. He can also cast Dark Savior, which will silence, which is equally as big of a problem because mages physically
い
cannot
や、す
attack
ごいな。
if they're silenced.
でも、
But now we have to pray the mages
ペル
not
ー
use
で
great
は、
magic.
日本語を勉強する人があんまりない。
Him, good, no stun,
え
and no great
で
magic.
も、
Perfect.
日本語の授業が、
He is not a problem beyond
来
this.
応募していたかった。でも、
Really glad because this
現
match
在
would be
は、
a big pain if Loxwell dies because
クラス
not only will I have
が
to revive him,
Always the
飽きなかった。
instant death is applied to all characters that are alive at the time, but if Loxwell dies, he
Nice.
loses the instant death buff.
Mhm.
Which means I can't get any instant kills with him, and I need him to get one a little. I need him to basically get the next two of them. Especially
独
farther
学
down.
とは
I'm
す
gonna
ごい
dash
な
him
っていう
down
コメン
to
トやっ
deal
ぱ
with
来てます
the
よ。
last two enemies, or he's gonna deal with one of them and then line up so he can deal with the other one. But I need instant death there to make that work. So the fight takes a lot longer.
あ
if
と、
that
フ
happens.
ワークと。
要は学校とかで学ばないで自分で学んで覚えるってことですね。
And that's about all there is
Hi.
for this map to
独学。
explain. Meta, if you've got some time for donations.
でもまあ、日本語を喋るは難しいね。来ことは頭に使わない。
I never miss.
あー、言い回しとかも多いですからね、日本語って他の言語に比べると。
うん、そうと思う。でも読んだりと聞いたりのことは、安いの？
読んだりですか？
と聞いたりの？
なかなかそういう機会がない、機会を作ろうとしてないですね、自分は。そうコメントにも書いてあるんですけど、日本にいる限りあまり英語必要ないですから深く学ぼうという人は少ないと思いますねって言うんですけど、まさに多分この通りで、本当興味を持って覚えようとしなければ多分覚えないと思うんですよね。触らないっていうのかな、英語の。最近はこう Steam でも日本語版対応じゃないゲームがあるんで、少し英語を覚えようかなっていう人も少し出てるとは思うんですけど、なかなかだから独学で日本語を勉強したりしてるのは私はすごいと思います。
まあ今、ゲームの動画を、見たり、翻訳してみます。それで、いっぱい、まあ、その方法は一番好きだと思います。
ゲームの動画って日本語のそのゲームのやつを見てるんですか？
はい。それは日本語版の？
other special abilities that pushes enemies back, and it will knock them out of range of other attacks if you do it at the wrong time. So I wanted to make sure Reinhilda went first to make sure she hit with both of them.
なるほど。
Okay, so we met Sin. We're good for that. I got a couple of golden eggs there that I'm probably not going to.
まあそうこう話してるうちにこうゲームの方も進んできて、まあ今の奏者の方が1時間約40分くらい経過してて、一応これの目標タイムが2時間15分なんで、まあもう少しでクリアなのかなって思って、どこまで進んでるのか全然わかんないですね。なぜ日本語を学ぼうと思ったんですかっていう質問が来てますけど。
言うの？じゃあきっかけ？
そう、日本語をなんで覚えようかなって思ったか。
まあきっかけは、まあアニメやっぱり、小さい時に、音声の日本語はこれはすごくいい感じだと思いますね。
日本語のその発音とかがってことですか？
発音。
それで覚えようと思ったと。
まあ、ペルーでは、スペイン語と、それは、 棒を
Unfortunately, in this fight, you have Langry as an ally, and unlike the protect missions, Langry actually moves around and does things. And he's a mage, so he has a lot of range, and he just wastes time with his attacks. I don't really want him taking actions, but there's no
みんな、
about it.
ペルーでは、
So he's just gonna waste
スペイン
time
語を
with his
話
attacks in this map.
話せますの
I
話
think you
話
guys
し
can
ま
all
す。
guess what's about to happen with Darius as
スペイン語。
well.
You mean you randomly bring
で、
in
そう
level 16 characters?
日本語と比べると、
You know how it is. It's always the
いろんな
turn out to be your massive super weapons. You just never really hear about it.
発音とかはほとんど同じだと思います。
そうなんだ。
Special ability you get from him is actually kind of cool. It causes you to take
初めて
zero
聞いた。
damage from any attack, except soul crushes.
と、ゲームの進行具合を教えてくれた方がいらっしゃって、今5章で、全部で6章みたいなんで、あと1章、あと2章か。で終わりみたいです。
Thankfully, this map works in a pretty decent way where I move my way up here, and standing on that tile there will actually trigger the boss to move out. And it's going to allow me to
バ
get
ル
to
キリ
him
ー
on
プ
the
ロファ
next
イ
turn.
ル DS でも
If
出
I
てた
didn't
み
move
た
at
いで、
that location,
私 DS 触ったことがないんですよね、実は。
I'd have to deal with him attacking me once.
私も DS 触ったことないです。
Wow, he crit on that. Holy crap. Langry is angry right now. But yeah, Royenborg's gonna move out
自分がバルキリープロファイルってイメージするものが、プレステだよな。プレステの1作目のバルキリープロファイルしか頭に出てこなくて、なんだろうこれとか思って見始めたら、シミュレーションって全然違う。 で
も、そのバルキリープロファイルはどんなタイプのゲーム？Like turn-based game？
あ、一番最初のですか？一番最初？
準備に待ってます。それで敵がアタックすることを。
And also Royenborg just died.
Like 順に、
順に出てきたものってことですか？
はい。
自分はもうプレイステーションの1作目しか知らないんですよ。その後に出てきたもの全く知らないんで、これが2作目、継続の2作目なのかなと思ったら全然それも違くて3作目って聞いて、じゃあ2作目なんだろうってまだ調べてないです。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。自分の担当時間のものじゃなかったんで、全く調べなかったんですよ。
私も、今、ウィキペディアで、ちょっと検索してみます。
しかも今回あるゲーム、結構マイナーすぎて、日本語のウィキじゃないっていうのが出てきてて、まあそれはしょうがないのかなって思います。ペルーは藤森大統領いましたね、昔。っていうコメントもありますね。やべ、藤森大統領って名前聞いたことあるけど覚えてないな。結構前じゃない？藤森大統領って。
ロベルト・フジモリ。
藤森。
はい、前の大統領だ。
Because there's a mage up on top of that roof. You can kind of see him in the upper right there. There's a mage up there who can cast a whole bunch of different stats. He can cast stuns. He has menu magic that can cast random status ailments. And I just don't want. I can't afford I can't afford Auguste getting any status effects on him. See, Loxwell is fine.
汚職事件だ。
Maybe he's not fine.
が起こった、逮捕された。でも今は、
You're a professional. Yes.
なんとか。
逮捕の反対は
何だっけ？
何の反対？逮捕の反対で釈放？
liberated？
逮捕だよね。捕まったってことですよね。捕まったの。
話すらもう。
釈放ですね。
Union plumes. So we're going to bring Loxwell back, and we just skipped the entire stage because now he's up on top of the wall. Because the Union Plume just checks to see if there's an open space in front of the character. It doesn't check to see what height that character, what height that character would be at. So you can completely ledge skip and just put him way up here, which works exceptionally well here and only here. There's one other map I found a use for it on. It's on a different Chapter 2 route. I'm just going to wait with you. We need to get Reinhilde over here. And we're just going to wait with you. So the boss, you can't see him because he's behind the pillar there, but he's a mage. He's just going to sit still because I haven't gotten in his aggro radius yet. No, not right there. Put you there, then we're going to stalk. I used stalk on him a long time ago, but I haven't used it yet. Stalk makes him invisible, so the enemies can't see that he's actually there. So they can't target him, they can't do anything to him. But if you use any action towards an enemy, like you attack them or you cast magic on them or anything like that, it breaks the stealth. But dashing does not, so I'm actually free to move.
やっぱ日本語は難しいですね。
Free to move.
難しい。ことは来ない。
Pretty handy in that regard. We're gonna go through one more round of action.
多分これからもどんどん入っていく時があると思いますけど、あんまり気負わずコメントでやっぱ聞いてくれる人もいるので、答えたりとかそういう形で入っていただければ全然大丈夫ですので。
最近ね、総理大臣のニュースを見ました。靴でアイスクリームがなんだっけ、he was served これを食べてとを出すで、どう思いますか、その
アイスを配ることですか？
はい。でも靴ではい、皿じゃなくて靴でアイスクリームがある。
靴でアイスを出すってまた斬新なことしますね。靴でも自分ではそれはちょっと失礼じゃないですか？まあ確かにそうですね。靴でアイスを出すでしょ。それってつま先までいっぱいいっぱい入ってるんですかね。
でも本物の靴じゃなくて、金をメタルだと思います。
金属で。
多分
スプーンでも、まあスプーンでこう食べるのはまあありなんじゃないのかなって思いますけどね。日本のユニーク食器だと便器の形をしたお皿がありまして、そこに食べ物を乗っけるとかね、それの方がどうなのって私は思っちゃうんで。
でもフォークとナイフ使いますか？
フォークとナイフ。
それとも、
And that was the whole map. Not much to this one. Very, very easy map because of instant death and stalking.
フォークとナイフ。まあ、フォークとナイフでアイス食べるっていうのは別に何も問題ないと思っちゃいますけどね。
ああ、そうなんですか。
まあ、ナイフは使わないかなけど、アイス食べるのには。フォークで、食べちゃうかな。はい、米田のメロンクリームソーダ容器。
素手で食べますか？
アイスを素手で食べるからですか？
はい。手でだけ。
コーンだったら素手で食べちゃいますね、そのままかじって。靴の容器に入ったアイスだったらそのままで食べないかな。スプーンで食べちゃうかな。
僕は時々手でだけ使います。
もうそのまま手でガブっていっちゃいます。フォ
ークと手使います。スプーンは普通にスープだけのスープを飲むだけ使います。
これが多分国の文化の違いなんだなって一応にちょっと考えたりもしてるんですけど、うまいコメントが出てこなくてですね。で、ちょっと申し訳ないですが、代わりに入ってくれる方がいらっしゃるので、あと、ケルメンさんも先ほどちょっと時間がないっておっしゃってたので、時間大丈夫ですかね。
まあ、たまに今、出かけます。
あ、はい。じゃあ、どうします？引き継ぎは私が行っといた方がいいのかな。
でも今の、なんとか、焼きチキン？
あ、照り焼きチキン。
あ、照り焼き。
もしくはナンバー93が代わりに入ってくれるので、一応ナンバー93が大丈夫ですかって聞いてるんですね。
でもマウスさんでそれでいい？名前は
あ、大丈夫です。マウスで。私はマウスで大丈夫です。
マウス。
私もですね、全く寝てないので、そろそろ寝ないとちょっとまずいかなと思ってるんで、代わりにちょっと交換させていただきますので。はい。
でも、どうしてその名前を選びましたか？ネズミだ。そういう意味がある。
そうです。ハムスター好きで。私、小さいネズミのことをマウスって言うじゃないですか。大きいやつだとラットになっちゃいますから。だから、ハムスター的な意味合いでマウスっていう名前をつけてます。
ああ、そうなんだ。
はい。決して有名な国ではないんですよね。
うん。でも、そのそういうのマウスは、
you have collected enough sin that you have managed to forge the Angel Slayer, which is basically the weapon you will use to take down
殺しますか？
いや、殺さないです。殺さないです。それだとね、私、同族を殺してることになっちゃいますからね。そんなことはしませんよ。ちゃんと可愛がりますからね。
でも別の国、下水道だから、汚いマウスので、みんなは殺します。病気多分の。
まあ、害獣、まあ、そういう害があるやつのことを害獣って言うんですけど、まあ、それに関してはね、まあ、しょうがないかなって思いますけど。そうですね、ちょっと殺伐とした会話になっちゃってますけど。
To go back to when I plumed Lisa Lotta earlier, the reason why she is plumed over Loxwell is because Loxwell starts right next to
日本にあまりネズミがいないっていうのはね、ちょっとね、それね、都会に住んでるからじゃないのかな。自分が住んでる地域って結構出てきて、一番自分が処理した中ででかいのはクマネズミが出てきちゃって、すごいでかかったんですよね。あれにはちょっとびっくりしました。当たったらドンって痛いんですよ、普通に。なんだって思います。そっち側の夢の国のネズミじゃないんで。
そんなに怖いじゃなくての、外国はミッキーマウスのというキャラある。
そうですね。そのネズミではないので、私はあくまでもハムスターなんで、確かね、なんとかマウスっていうのは20日ネズミを確かイメージして出てきてるんで、またちょっと違いますね。そうですね。まあ土地によって違うからね。なんでネズミの話になってたんだろうな。不思議だな。
まあ、ピカチュウはマウスですか？
まあ、ピカチュウはマウスですね。まあ、電気ネズミで。けどでかいからね、ラットになるような気がするんですけど、ポケモンの世界で言うと、ラッタもいるからさ、どうなるんでしょうね、あれは。ちょっとそこら辺は私もわからない。あんまネズミをさ、害虫扱いしてさ、ひどい扱いしないで、一応ハムスターとかモルモットとかテグーとかさ、たくさん種類いるからさ、一応マウスでも。ね、というわけで私も本当そろそろ寝たいんだけどな。話が止まらなくなってしまった。
that I'm going to be able to do one more with Loxwell afterwards. You notice how much damage he did. And Loxwell's going to go last, and he's going to do a lot of damage with Meteor Swarm here. She's actually weak to darkness attacks, so this helps a bit. But he still doesn't do a lot because Will's got over 2,000 attack power right now. And now Will's going to get counterattack because he's Volley's Awakening provokes, so she's always going to go after him, but his defense rating is high enough that it's not a big problem. And she did not soul crush. Wow,
じゃあ、ちょっと私は、さすがにちょっと夕方からまた入りますので、ちょっと先に失礼させていただきます。あとは、
私も。
じゃあすいません、テリヤキキンさん、お願いします。
はい、変わりました。
では、また失礼します。
はい、お疲れ様です。
はい、お疲れ様です。
じゃあね。ちょっと、このネズミ雑談からどうつなげばいいのか、すごい悩みどころですが、ちょっと頑張っていきたいと思います。
急にその話題が来ちゃった。
いやいや、全然面白かったですけど。バルキリープロファイル、予定時間2時間15分でもう2時間になろうとしてますから、もうちょっとで終わるみたいなことなんですね、これ。自分 DS のゲーム、まあ結構やりましたけど、中でもこのバルキリープロファイル見てる感じ、すごい演出とか凝ってて、動きとかもかっこいいなと思うので、これすごいやりたいですね。ゲームシステムもオーバーキルとかいろいろあって、面白そうじゃないですか。全然知らないんですけど、自分も。いつの間にかゲージになってませんか、これ。まだですか
Will has now slayed the Valkyrie. I'm actually going to show the ending. That's a beautiful face for Will, by the way.
I actually thought your world record was like a 150, like 152.
No, that's the extent of the route. My record's a 150.
バルキリープロファイル。光、ワールドレコード2時間1分6秒。もしかしたらこれはワールドレコードが見えるかもしれないですね。本家のコメントの方は、かなりワールドレコードのコメントで湧いているので。
She's really, really irritated with Will right now.
And we realize why going on that hunt for a Valkyrie is a really bad idea.
Freya informs us that the Valkyrie cannot be killed. The body, you can kill the body, but the soul is eternal. So Will was on a quest for nothing, and Hel and Islet both knew this the entire time.
これ、1時間58分26秒ということは、今まで2時間1分6秒だったので、自分自身が持っていた世界記録をさらに3分ぐらい短縮してワールドレコードですか。おめでとうございます。
And they're like, yeah, we don't really have much of a use for you now.
So they send him to Niflheim, where he's going to suffer for basically all eternity for what he's done.
自身が持ってる記録をこういうイベントで塗り替えるって相当かっこいいですよね。憧れますね。
And then shows a scene back at his mother's house.
ただし、
There's his mother's caregiver there. The music box that his father had owned the entire time that his mother cherished just fell off the shelf
ただ
for no
し、ちょっ
reason.
と
And
エンディングが不
she
穏
kind
っ
of
ぽいです
realized,
ね。
oh hey, that's probably a bad thing.
その
And then it
こ
explains,
のバルキープロファイル始ま
explains
る
that
頃
they
最初の時に
instilled Prince
岡さんが
Joshua,
コメン
which
トで
is
解
not
説
Langree or Kristoff, it's the like
してくれて
2-year-old
ましたけ
at
ど、
this
多
point
分
as the
B
king,
エン
and
ディングなのか
unfortunately
C エ
he
ンディ
was
ングなのか
not
よくわ
able
からないで
to
すけど、
stop
あんま
the
り
crap that
い
was
いエンディン
going
グではない
on.
っぽいですね。
So another
まあ
Christmas
2% なの
event
でエンディングが何でもいいので
basically,
問題なしなんですが。
basically took over.
いや、すごいですね、
Very,
これ、
very
本当
dark
に。
ending, and here's the credits.
Yeah, this is the ending where you've become the villain protagonist.
And then here we have Odin and Freya talking up in Asgard. They're like, she's explaining what Will has actually done, and they're a little concerned about the Valkyrie because they think she lost because she had pity for mortals. And basically, when they call upon her next, they're gonna wipe her memories entirely, in hopes that she doesn't do it again.
I remember hearing some things where no one's really sure what the canon ending is.
バルキープロファイルは終わりですかね。
Some of the evidence points to this may be a prequel, and B or C is the canon ending. But I'm not
プ
sure.
ライズ
But yeah,
とかはないので、寄付金とかで 何か追加のプレイとかをするというのは多分ないですね。ないので、これでもう終わりですね。
The run went really well. The tech
いやでもこれはすごいです
didn't
ね。
go so well, and ended up wasting all the time that it would have happened if things had gone wrong in the run.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was Valkyrie Profile Covenant of the Plume. I hope everyone enjoyed.
Nice job, man.
Meadow, what do we have up next?
Well, let us find out. Up next, we have, I believe it's Shadows of Adam.
Ooh, that's a good game.
Being run by Dowolf.
Yeah, also it's a PC game, so
yeah, I got to get off this thing.
Give it our track record so far.
Don't break it, please.
じゃあ、配信のタイトルなど変え
Good
て
luck
き
to
ま
Dowolf,
す。
and I hope everyone else enjoys the rest of the marathon. Thank you very much, and that's all from me.
Great job, Dragondarch. World record. That's amazing, dude. Good job. It's awesome to always see that at a major event. Well, guys, we have quite a few donations, so I'm going to speed right on through them. We have a $50 donation from Professor Ness. WRGGDD. Here's 50 to your choice. We have an anonymous $100 donation. Love what you guys do. Donation goes to Runner's Choice. We have a $5 donation,
はい。
and I
と
think
いうこと
this
で、
is
多
probably
分
the reason
配信のレイアウトの方も変わったと
everything
思い
worked
ま
out
す。
so great for the RNG from
次は、シャドウ・オブ・アダム。
My first time donating. Good luck with RNG, guys. Clearly that good luck came Dragondarch's way.
こういうのインディーズゲームっぽいですね。
$5 donation from Edoji.
全然知らないんですけど。
French. I will do my best to pronounce it. Bonne chance à tous les coureurs.
おはようございます。いいんですかね ?10 時14分。
Merci beaucoup.
こんにちはと言った方がいいんでしょうかもう。
これ聞こえてます？
あ、聞こえてますよ。多分放送にも載ってます。
はい。シャドウ・オブ・アダムなんですけど、
はい。$7 donation from Magius.
あ、
Says, so hi all.
シャドウ・オブ・アダム、こんにちは。シャドウ・オブ・アダムなんですけど、ドネーションインセンティブがあるみたいですね。
はい、ドネーションインセンティブ。
で、ドネーションインセンティブっていうのは寄付の見返りで、一定の寄付に達したら、その見返りがあるって感じなんですけど、それが、キングスライムと戦うのと、あと、オープニングのダンジョンをアスキーモードでプレイするっていう内容だそうです。
なるほど。
はい、それだけ話しに来ました。はい。
それだけ話に。
以上です。はい。
ありがとうございます。まだまだ。こういう素晴らしい情報を渡してくれた、なんてお呼びすればよろしいでしょうか。ナンバー90、それとも90番さん。
はい、90番でよろしくお
90
願いします。
番さんに、皆さん拍手してください。ありがとうございます。
はい。失礼します。
お疲れ様です。
We have a $5 donation from Aki that just says meow because
ということ
meow.
で、はい。
And finally, we have a $20 donation from Magnificent Q of the Continuum that says, "We swore to
2
Mutski
つとも、はい、
and
達成してるみたいです
Flexi
ね、
that
実
would
際。
donate upon hearing the latter's macho voice."
シャドウ・オブ・アダム、ちょっと待ってくださいね。今、めっちゃタイピング音とか放送に入ったら申し訳ないんですが、ググってます。
Continuum as he did. To all members and comrades of the Continuum, this is for you. May the flex be with you, and may the paltry offering, may this paltry offering go to aiding those who suffer from pains they cannot always talk about. Having observed your dimension for so long, we have seen many paragons of humanity struggle, suffer, and triumph against such odds with hell. Let this payment go to Meta Sigma's decision. The flex knows best.
うん。Steam で販売してるんですね。1480円。サントラセットで1577円。すごい、なんというか、JRPG チックな RPG 作りましたって、自分自身たちでも、紹介してるっぽいんですけど、ゲームボーイアドバンスにありそうなドット絵ですね、これ。可愛らしいというか、なんというか。ああ。16ビット JRPG と書いてありますね。なるほど。
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Bob the Ninja Goldfish, and we are here at RPG Limit Break 2018. I have a bit of an update for you guys on the Nier Automata Super Bosses incentive. We are going to be doing that after this run, so if you're interested in that, stay tuned. And all I can say is congratulations to Dragondarch.
なるほど。
So we have $10 from Zetsu Boys. Says, hey everyone, it's been a great marathon so far, and I can't wait to see the rest of it. Put this towards naming Varnessa in Legend of Lagaya. Because why not?
ただ多分、日本語版はないんですかね。ちょっとわからないですけど。
So I do want to quickly tell you guys a little about the reason we're here.
もしかしたら、有志の方が日本語翻訳作ってます。今 20% しかできませんが、みたいなツイートを見かけたので、もしかしたらこれからできるかもしれないですね。今年の2月に 20% なので。なるほど。
In the US, it's a grand 74 weeks. This is one problem that Nami aims to solve. So if you are suffering, please do not hesitate to reach out to people. There's no shame in seeking help. It is, in fact, a strength.
しかも3時間45分。まあまあですね。通常プレイでは12時間ぐらいとか書いてあるので、まあ、それでもかなり早い感じですね。3分の1ぐらいですか。
We did meet both the incentives for this game, so that's going to be interesting to see. If you haven't seen the ASCII map,
すいません。
はい。
ですね、今、洋ゲーもですね、ゲーム画面の映して、それを即時翻訳してくれるっていうツールも出ているので、もし気になる方いたら、そちらを試していただければと思います。
それにそのツールのお名前など伺っても。
そうですね、これが私、ツール名を知らないものなので、
なるほど。
Steam のコミュニティのゲーム画面機械翻訳支援ツールというものがあるので、それを試していただければと思います。探していただければと思います。まあ、ちょっとそれをだけ言いたくて、入ってきましたんで。
いやー、ここのジャパニーズリストリームは有益な情報を一言言いにくる人が多いですね。素晴らしい。
すいません。では、